Hello YouTube. So, I'm getting a whole lot of questions from uh, someone on my channel. I don't know, y'all probably noticed a lot of comments. So, um, he seems pretty interested in my life, and I've not really covered like a whole lot of it on YouTube, but I'll be honest, my life's an open book. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you all a little bit about me. I have 4 children, had twin girls in the middle. My oldest one passed away. I thought it was 2 years, but it's going to be 3, and it was on the 9th of April. I'm going to try and do a video about that because of what happened to her. But, and I'll try not to break down in tears when I do it. But, long story short, I've been married 5 times. Yes, you heard that right, 5 times. My first daughter's father beat me while I was pregnant, and that's a long story. I'd have to do just one video just on that part. But if y'all ever watched Lifetime Movie Network, well, some of those movies have nothing over on this guy. Really bad story. I could write a book just on that one. So, anyway, with my second husband, I had my twin girls, and then my youngest. He was a disabled veteran. I thought he was a nice guy. He didn't drink. Like I said, he was already disabled. He was 10 years older than me, just like the first husband was about 10 years older than me. And anyway, but what I didn't know was I knew about a few of his children. I knew about, let's see, 1, 2, 3. I knew about 5 of them. And, you know, the previous couple wives before me. Well, come to find out, y'all, this man had probably 17 kids, if not more, because God only knows how many he had in Vietnam. And numerous wives. So, yeah, I found all this out later. But the reason we separated was because he cheated on me. Numerous times. I continued to stay with him for a long time. And then I found out that he had went back to one of the ex-wives. He was never home. Never. He came home one day a week taking grocery shopping. I didn't drive. I didn't have a phone. Anyway, that's another long story. But the reason I left him is because he went back to a second wife who had what I understood was 1 daughter. I now think it might have been 2 there. So, anyway, I left him. When I left him, I later married a man who was 30 years older than me, who was excellent husband, excellent father to my children. But the age difference did end up getting in the way. I can't say he never did anything for me to leave him. That it was totally my fault. I left him, and I left him for a younger man who would later become my 4th husband, who's the one that now lives right next door to me. And that's another story. we divorced because he had cheated. Now, getting on to the fifth husband. He drank a little bit, and I'm not a drinker, never have been. A couple beers after work, you know, nothing to be alarmed about. But a few years after we were married, the drinking on the weekends got heavier. And then when his job at Georgia Pacific Corporation had closed down, he retired early. Y'all, went downhill from there. See, they did drug tests, so he couldn't do any kind of drugs working there. And he was always a hard worker, always provided. Not a bad man, but it did get rough because on the weekends, he drank quite a bit. When he lost his job because the plant closed, he started doing drugs, I heard. Drinking real heavy. He was getting nasty. It was just like a 360. So, needless to say, I left him. So, there, that covers 5 husbands, the 4 kids. Now, that's not including all of my stepchildren I've helped raise. I probably got a total of 10 youngins. Now, I've got probably about 11 grandchildren myself. Yeah, go figure, I kind of lost track. But I've got a bunch of step-grandchildren that I also helped raise. As a matter of fact, the one husband that was 30 years older than me, he used to call me Mother Teresa because I took care of all the kids in the neighborhood. There was a lady who lived down the street. She had 5 head of youngins. She get her food stamps at the beginning of the month, and by the first, second week in the month, she had no food in the house. Now, her daughters were friends with my daughters, and we had a swim pool, and they'd come swim, and I'd grill out. Well, I was feeding her 5 kids and my 4 kids every single night for at least the last 2 weeks of the month, and sometimes a little bit in between. So my husband said, Charity, you know, and we weren't poor. He had money. He said, Charity, he said, we can't keep feeding 9 children. And I was like, well, I'm not going to let them go hungry. Not going to happen. Anytime there was anybody hungry or homeless or, look, I'd find a bed, a floor, whatever the case may be, whatever I had to do. So, yeah, even stray animals find their way to my house. Whether they're running around, loose, whatever the case may be, they find their way to me. Same with stray people. And it's been that way my whole entire life. I don't know if it's a curse, because I keep, and a lot of these people that I encounter, they forget who the heck you are later on. I mean, and it's like they turn around and they hate you for helping them. I've never seen nothing like it. But it doesn't matter. I did what I did, and it doesn't matter. I didn't do it to be acknowledged anyway. So, anyway, like I said, bunches of grandchildren that I've helped raise. Lived with me on and off for the past, my oldest granddaughter's 19, and my youngest grandson is like 4. They've all lived with me over the years, pretty much. And I've helped raise them. I've babysat them. So I've probably raised, oh God, hundreds of children. Hundreds. Or had a hand in help raising hundreds. So, anyway, none of the fathers ever paid child support. The one disabled veteran, when I finally realized, hey, you should be getting VA for your kids, I can't remember who told me. So later on, I filed. Well, they gave me $90 a month for his 3 kids. It was only like 3 to 5 months that they gave me that. Then I got a letter saying that the veteran needed everything for himself. In other words, he couldn't afford $90 a month out of his check to take care of those 3 kids because he had already made more kids and remarried two times afterwards. And his last wife, they paid for her to go to college. My daughter went through the VA to go to college, and she later got a letter telling her that she owed all that money back. What? The man never supported him? And why does she have to pay back money that y'all paid for her to go to college? Now, I mean, I thought that's what the VA did. You do it for the wife. So, anyway, I went to hairdressing school while I had my 4 little young kids. And after I left the man that was 30 years older than me, from there on out, I always worked 2 to 3 jobs. One time I was a short order cook and bartended at night. So I'd go home, I'd cook dinner, take a shower, and leave. I, at one time, had a live-in nanny for the girls because I was just gone all the time. Because I wanted to make sure that they had the best of everything. Now, they did end up drawing checks off the older man, the one that was 30 years older than me, when he retired. He's not the biological father of any of them. So that helped a lot financially. So between that and working 2 to 3 jobs around the clock, we lived really good. And they drawed that until they was 18. So anyway, that's the story of all of my grandchildren, you know, my children, the marriages, the divorces, the reasons. Y'all, like I said, the first marriage would have been a best-selling thriller or drama, because it's better than anything that y'all probably ever seen on Lifetime Movie Network. I mean, it was that horrific. I've been through a lot. Obviously, I don't know how to pick men, so I don't ever foresee me getting married again. Now, another thing was about camping. I gotta light a cigarette. Another thing that we was discussing was camping. Now, y'all, most of the time, especially, you know, I would camp in a campground. Like right across from the bathroom. And we had water and power right at the site, most of the time cable. All the comforts of home. But if I did dry camp, it was, you know, y'all know you got to have a little potty. They sell the flushable toilets, luggable loos. I mean, there's all different ways. depending on how long you're out there, if you need a shower, all you have to do is use your Coleman, boil you some water, and use a shower bag that you can buy at Walmart relatively cheap. An air mattress to lay on is very comfortable. You know, I mean, you bring your water with you, you bring your ice, so you got cold food. I mean, get in some shade trees. Usually it's cool if you're in the woods, especially in the mountains. It's not bad. So, and there is a way to power a fan. You know, there's a battery and an inverter. There's a way to even power a fan. Or you can plug it into a cigarette lighter for that matter. I mean, you know, 12-volt fan. Y'all, there's lots of ways. Does it cost for all that camping gear that you need? It sure does. I have the majority of camping gear that I need. I had a 2-man tent, and about 2 years ago, I've never even used this tent. It's a 2-room tent, and it just pops up. You ain't got to put the poles through it or anything. So, but anyway, I wanted this to come on. Hopefully, I've answered some of my friends' questions about my children and all that, and what kind of life, you know, that I've basically had. Like I said, each husband is pretty much an individual story. But I was a hairdresser, and bartender. That's what I went to school for, was cosmetology. I'm also an EMT, emergency medical technician, CNA, a med tech. Let's see, I took medical terminology. Anyway, y'all, I've done everything except for probably work on a hog farm, and pick cotton or tobacco. But pretty much, I've done a little bit of everything that you could probably imagine. Convenience store clerk. I mean, you name it, I probably did it. You do what you got to do to survive. The young people in this generation, some of them, don't seem to have that concept. They seem to think that they are... It's because parents, including myself, did everything for their children, gave them everything, and they have this entitlement thing. You know, they're entitled. I can't say that about mine, because my twin daughter, well, both of them are EMTs. The one is working nuclear power plant shutdowns and is going to school for engineering. She was leaning towards nursing. She switched it up a couple times, but now she's going for engineering. And I believe she's almost done with that. She's already got it's not a bachelor, associate's degree in science or something. So my youngest one was learning disabled pretty much since birth. She never even said the word mama till she was 2. So she had a severe learning disability and speech impairment. So she's not as successful as the twin girls are. My oldest daughter also had college. So anyway, because this video is like 20 minutes now, I'm just going to cut it there. And I'll try and fill y'all in little bits and pieces. If I get more questions, I'll try to come on and answer. Like I said, my life's an open book. I have nothing to hide. We all made mistakes. I'm not ashamed or embarrassed of them. So I haven't been feeling too good lately, and that's why I've not made any real videos. And I've been, these dogs. Whew, that'll be the next video. I'll tell you all about these dogs. It's been rough. It consumes your whole day. And my vehicle, and oh my God. But I'll tell you all about that in another video. Alright, for now, have a good night. Oh, I did want to mention that now, if you don't have 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, you can't go live. Unless you do it from a computer. Or you probably could download an app that you can use to go live that uploads to YouTube. Not on your phone, because that won't happen. But if you go through the app, the video app, and I'll have to get some names of them and whatnot. Anyway, this just changed last night, and I have several people that do pretty much only lives. So, you know, this is just ridiculous. If I can do it from my computer or laptop in my home, why can't I do it from my cell? Because if you're out and you're traveling, you're going places, generally you use your phone. You don't use your laptop or computer. YouTube's just getting ridiculous, y'all. And when you get close to 1,000 subs, they act like idiots. They want to give you strikes. They're taking people's subscribers. So everybody check, make sure that you're still subscribed. Now, anyone that's not subscribed to my friend Sundry Girl, y'all, last time I looked, she only needs like 15 people to make it to her 1,000 subs. So if you're not subbed to her, I know you'll love her, and I know you'll enjoy her channel. Go subscribe to her. Push her over that 1,000. Okay, that would be real nice. It doesn't cost anybody a dime to subscribe to someone. So, help Sundry Girl reach that 1,000. Thanks, y'all. Have a good night.